Hello everyone, welcome to the Dinan PCU installation video. This video covers installation on the G8x M2, M3, and M4, but the process is very similar on the other S58 applications. First, we will disconnect the negative battery terminal in the trunk of the car using a 10mm socket. Now, open the hood and begin removing the strut braces. Remove the strut braces by loosening the four 15mm nuts from each strut tower, and then the single 13mm bolt at the front of the engine bay. Now you'll be able to remove the engine cover by gently pulling upward. Next, locate the plastic cover just in front of the driver's side firewall and remove it by twisting the single locking tab. Then we will remove the driver's side air intake from the turbo inlet. Locate the metal locking clip and use a pick tool to disengage it. Here you can see how the intake locking clip disengages and engages the turbo inlet. Finally, locate the two plastic push pins on the core support and pry them out using a small flathead screwdriver. Now simply pull up and out on the intake and set aside. Remove the plastic DME cover. Place the module into the area housing your brake fluid reservoir and run the two wires under the rubber seal of the firewall. Gently lay the larger wires over the engine and out of the way. Now take the smaller boost pressure wire and start routing it behind the DME and down towards the frame rail. To gain better access to the boost pressure sensor, remove the 10mm nut holding the auxiliary water pump. And simply pull up on the auxiliary water pump and push aside. This sensor is a very tight location, so you'll want to take your time with this step. Pull the white tab and then depress it to disconnect. Then connect both ends to the PCU harness and lock the white tabs back into place. Now re-secure the auxiliary water pump and secure it with a 10mm nut. Next, double-check your wire routing and zip tie everything in place. Now we can finish routing the remaining connections like so. Locate the map sensor on the manifold. Pull the white tab and depress it to disconnect. Then connect the PCU harness to both ends of the connection and secure using the white tabs. Next, route the PCU exhaust cam and fuel rail connections along the valve cover and manifold. Disconnect both factory connections on the front of the engine and then connect the PCU in line with the two connections. Connectors will only fit one way, so this cannot be mixed up. Now locate the positive battery post on the passenger side. Remove the plastic cover and install the PCU 12-volt power wire using a 13mm socket. Reinstall the plastic cover. Route the wires along the rubber seal and secure any loose areas with zip ties, as shown here. You can secure the PCU module by zip tying it to the factory harness as shown here. Next, we will cover installing the OBD2 harness. This part is not necessary for the PCU to function, but it is required to enable the data logging and gauge functions in the application. Remove the two 8mm screws holding the panel underneath the dash on the driver's side footwell. Locate the rubber grommet on the firewall. This is a little tricky to find, so we recommend using a flashlight. Then cut a small slit or X into the grommet so that you can pass the green connection through from the inside. Connect it to the PCU. Coil up the remaining wire and zip tie it out of the way. Then connect the OBD2 connector to the vehicle's OBD2 port. Then replace the panel using the two 8mm screws. Replace the two plastic covers for the DME and brake reservoir. To reinstall the intake, you'll want to first ensure the metal locking clip is disengaged. Then put the intake into position, ensuring that the rubber grommets in the bottom of the airbox are engaged. The clip should re-engage automatically once the intake is seated within the inlet. Reinstall the two plastic push pins. Reinstall the engine cover. Replace both strut tower braces and appropriate hardware. The 8 15mm nuts need to be torqued to 28 Nm, and the single 13mm screw needs to be torqued to 56 Nm plus 90 degrees. Reconnect the negative battery terminal using a 10mm socket. Now close the hood and enjoy. Thank you for choosing Dinan.